Hey guys, Barky here, back with another Iceberg video. In this video, we'll be covering Tier 5 of the Five Nights at Freddy's Iceberg, so strap in, grab yourself some onion rings, and enjoy. By the way, this video is sponsored by nobody. It's my 5th video, why would I have a sponsor? Okay, let's get started. 1987 in FNAF 2's Custom Night. This refers to a Reddit post made by a deleted user on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit. The post is titled, "Today I learned FNAF 2 has a 1987 custom night mode programmed in, but it remains unused," and reads, "If you set Withered Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, and Foxy to 1987, it sets the variable 1987 to 1 in the same fashion all our 20 gets set to 1 when all 10 of them are at 20. This variable is never actually called anywhere else, so it is useless." This is literally the only piece of information I could find on this entry. At least until they ruin everything by making 47 sequels. Looking at you, Cawthon. This is a quote from Smosh Games' video on Undertale. FNAF 57 Freddy in Space was actually a reference to this quote, as the character Scott's Head references making many different sequel games after FNAF 57 Freddy in Space. Custom Night. In the screenshots and Ultimate Custom Night's Steam's and GameJolt pages, the phrase Custom Night is seen in place of the offices, power-ups, and challenges buttons. This sprite also exists in the game files but is unused. Slurp. In the intro to Freddy in Space 2, the word slurp appears next to Freddy as he drinks his non-alcoholic beverage, but it is invisible against the black background. Withered is never said in FNAF 2. The word withered is never said in FNAF 2, even in reference to the withered animatronics. In the game files, they're referred to as old animatronics, and the term withered originated in FNAF World. Since then, we've been referring to them using the prefix withered. New office under construction, please come back later. In 2018, Scott Cawthon posted this teaser to his website, scottgames.com. It shows an image of Scott's avatar, Anim Dude, with a hard hat on, and the caption, "New office under construction, please come back later." 6666 unlocks the camera in the kitchen. In FNAF 1, there's a camera for the kitchen, but it's audio only. There's a prevalent rumor that if you type 6666, it'll unlock the camera. Unfortunately, this has never worked. There are no files in the game that would allow the kitchen camera to turn on. Army of Endos rising from the bowling alley. I believe this refers to a YouTube video posted by Boba T is Good For You that showcases something interesting in Security Breach. Whenever you're in Bonnie's bowling alley, endoskeletons come from the alleys to try to catch you, and if you look at them though, they don't move. Very interesting. Bed sheets. You can get these sweet FNAF themed bed sheets online. Go to sleep while Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy keep the monsters out of your closet, out of your bed, and out of your dreams. BIDYBAB in the circus control room. A BIDYBAB can rarely appear behind the glass, similar to how a BIDYBAB can appear behind the glass in the elevator. Here's a picture. BLGE. In Help Wanted's Curse of Dreadbear DLC, if a player gets 0 points during Foxy's Pirate Ride minigame, players will be awarded the BLGE ranking before being greeted by a jump scare. BouncePot did the bite of 87. In FNAF World, possibly the easiest enemy you can come across is BouncePot. This bouncy onion plant thing has the lowest points in the game, and only awards you 5 XP when defeated. On the mobile version of FNAF World, at the end of the clock ending, it's suggested by BouncePot that he is the perpetrator of the bite of 87. This is probably Scott Cawthon making fun of all the fan theories about who committed the bite. Candy dispensers. These candy dispensers are made by Funko and are likely available at your local Walmart. You can find them in their Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, and Chica versions. They function exactly like Pez dispensers, which, fun fact, if you lift up the top really fast to dispense a piece, you can shoot it into your own eye or up your own nose, and don't ask how I know that. Depressed Freddy. This is a meme in which Freddy Fazbear is shown at a table looking down with 2 bottles of unknown liquid. Okay, they're beers, looking like he's having an existential crisis. The majority of these memes that I've seen are shown in response to something with no text on them. Early glitch trap design. This refers to this picture of what was supposedly Glitch Trap's early design. It looks like they really toned it down for Security Breach, because to me this design looks a lot like Springtrap. Endo 1 with nostrils. In one of the cutscenes for FNAF 4, we can see the crying child locked inside the repair maintenance room. On one of the shelves, we can see the head of one of the Endo ones. What's interesting about this head is that it has nostrils, and it's unknown why. My guess is that it's probably just to make it look more like a skull or to symbolize death for a bit of foreshadowing. Innard's Mask teaser. This was a teaser for Sister Location that showed Innard's Mask. If you brighten the image, you would be able to see the projected release date. What's nice about the image is that Innard's Mask isn't in one piece and almost looks like it's falling apart. Like, not all of him is the same. Face into static. In FNAF 1, when you get jump scared, you just get a screen of static after you die. There's some speculation online regarding if there are faces or details that can be seen in the static. Some see faces, some see eyes, but I think it's just a case of pareidolia or seeing something that isn't there. What do you think? Do you see anything? Fighter Mage Bard. Fighter Mage Bard is a mobile game released by Scott Cawthon in 2014, right before FNAF 1. It's a pixelated RPG game where you can choose between being a fighter, which is easy mode, a mage, which is medium, or a bard, which is hard mode. The game can be beaten within an hour by the experienced player, but with secret bosses and hidden upgrades, there's plenty of replay value to be found in this pint-sized adventure. Unfortunately, I could not find it on the Apple App Store. Maybe it's on like the Google App Store or something like that. FNAF 1 Foxy and the FNAF 2 trailer. In the third teaser for FNAF 2, we see Mangle and Foxy peeking out from behind a curtain with a 2 on it. What's unusual about this is that the Foxy on the left is the FNAF 1 model of Foxy, which doesn't appear in the game. Scott must not have been done with the withered Foxy model. FNAF 2's phone call in the trailer. In the trailer for FNAF 2, we can hear phone guy saying, "If you're hearing this, then chances are you've made a pretty poor career choice," which is a line we only hear in the trailer and is never used in the game, which is a crying shame because it's a great line. FNAF 3 Night 7. There's a glitch where you can get access to Night 7 for FNAF 3, although it's pretty hard to execute and it's obvious you're not supposed to be able to access it. It doesn't give you any access to any sort of special ending or minigame. There's no special reward for completing it except for bragging points, but if you go around to the average FNAF fan and tell them you beat FNAF 3 Night 7, they probably won't believe you anyway. FNAF 3 Scream and My Little Pony. This refers to a sound effect used in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. In the scene, Starlight Glimmer says, "Everything else I've said is true. The only way to be happy is if we're all equal." To which Party Favor replies saying, "Except for you," inciting Starlight Glimmer to turn around, snarling. And at this moment, you can hear the sound effect that would later be used in FNAF 3 and 4. Here's the clip.
Everything else I said is true. The only way to be happy is if we're all equal.
Except for you.
FNAF face paint videos. There are plenty of videos online of people painting their faces to look like certain characters, and the FNAF fanbase is not exempt from this, and you can find Springtrap, Circus Baby, Bonnie, Mangle, Ballora, and many others. FNAF underwear. Of course, if you're looking to add some comfort to your life, look no further than the FNAF underwear line. Indeed, you can go online and pick yourself up a pair of security briefs today. FNAFopedia. FNAFopedia is, well, it claims to be an online encyclopedia of FNAF knowledge. It's famous for consistently getting things wrong, for example, referring to events happening in 83, happening in 87. And pretending that William Afton doesn't exist while mentioning the missing children. FREDDIT FREEBUILD. FREDDIT FREEBUILD is an online community launched on July 6, 2015 that started as a Minecraft server based on Five Nights at Freddy's. 2018 is regarded as its only peaceful year because every other year of its existence has been filled with ownership battles, takeovers, and accusations left and right. As a result, it doesn't have a very good reputation. Freddy's son. Freddy's son is an NPC from Freddy in Space 2. He is Freddy Fazbear's son, if you didn't get that from the name, and he alerts Freddy to lol-hacks' schemes and gets saved at the end of the game if you get the good ending. FUNTIME FREDBEAR. This is a fan-made image of what someone thought a FUNTIME FREDBEAR would look like in Sister Location. Unfortunately, the only time anything Fredbear related appears in Sister Location is a Fredbear plush in the breaker room. GLAMROCK Bonnie. GLAMROCK Bonnie is an animatronic canon to Security Breach, but we never see him. He is mentioned in a few lines, so we know that he at one point did exist in the location, and it's heavily implied that Monty killed or dismembered Glamrock Bonnie in order to take his place in the band. Gummy Pizza Slice. This is a gummy made to look like a slice of pizza sold at FYE since 2018. Its description reads, "Fuel your night shift at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza with this giant gummy pizza slice. Since it comes with all the toppings, you should have plenty of energy to stay vigilant. Sweet gummy flavors include orange, green apple, strawberry banana, cherry, and mango." Goat Animatronic. People were making fake versions of the Goat Animatronic, and it was said to be a custom version of Endo 2. The majority of FNAF fans were not fooled because they knew Endo 2 would either be a Freddy variant or a Foxy variant. Later that night. Later that night refers to the secret minigame section in the game Midnight Motorist from Pizzeria Simulator. There is a gap in the bottom corner of the road at one point, and if you go through it, you'll immediately begin the Later That Night game. During this game, you drive along a road until you come to a fork in the road, where you can go straight or west. If you go west, you'll arrive at Junior's. If you try to go in, the person at the door will tell you, "Come on, you know you can't be here. Don't make this any more difficult than it has to be." Once you get back into your car, continue down the road and it'll get more and more narrow until you get out of the car and follow the path to your house. Once inside, you'll enter the living room and find someone, presumably a child, watching TV. If you approach them, they'll say, "Leave him alone tonight, he had a rough day." If you go further into the house, you'll see a door that, when approached, a knocking sound will play and your character will say, "I told you not to close the door." If you try to leave, your character will say, "This is my house, he can't ignore me like that." If you return to the door, a pounding sound will play with your character shouting, "Open the door." Once it's clear that the door won't budge, you leave, saying to yourself, "I'll find a way in from outside." Outside at the back of the house, you'll find a broken window and footprints leading into the forest behind the house. Your character says, "Ran off to that place again." He will be sorry when he comes back, and at this point, the minigame ends and you go back to your pizzeria. LOLBIT mask in the primary control module. In sister location, Ennard's mask can be seen hanging high on the wall directly in front of you. Sometimes this mask can be replaced with LOLBIT's mask. Fun little detail. Mangle calls the police. One of the characteristics of Mangle is their static noise that they play. It has what sounds like garbled speech, and some have tried to decipher what it means, and have come to the conclusion that what we're hearing is the recording of the police radios and sounds around them right after the bite of 87. Phrases like, "We got a little boy," and something about a frontal lobe are claimed to be heard. Here's the recording. What do you guys hear? Markiplier Animatronic. The Markiplier Animatronic is a secret animatronic in the FNAF fan games Five Nights at Candy's 1, 2, and 3, and it can be triggered by clicking the Warp Stash drawing in Camera 11. He then appears on the PC, on the player's desk, and yells, "I am the king of Five Nights at Freddy's." This is a nod at what Mark says upon beating the 5th night of the original FNAF game, and he has repeated this phrase many other times. In the remastered versions of Five Nights at Candy's, when clicking the Warp Stash in the drawing room, Markiplier appears on the PC and says, "Wahaha, hey there. Hey, how you doing there, kitty cat?" This line refers to the first time he played Five Nights at Candy's, in which Cindy had appeared at the door for the first time. FNAF Monopoly Clue. Monopoly is a great, or evil, depending on who you ask, board game to play for lots of family fun. Or suffering. Cluedo, also known as Clue in North America, is a murder mystery board game in the same vein as Monopoly. And they both have lots of variations based on lots of different fan bases, and one of the variations they both have is Five Nights at Freddy's. Look at the Monopoly version. I want it so badly. Nightmare Purple Guy. This could be referring to a number of things, but I think it's referring to this image posted on Reddit by FNAF Giffer 7 on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit. I can't really decide if this is scary or not. It's kind of neutral, I guess. But other things this entry could be referring to are various YouTube hoaxes where people claim to have seen or captured footage of a Nightmare Purple Guy in games like FNAF 2, but in reality, it's just a recolored Nightmare Bonnie. Orange Guy symbolizes William Afton. In the Later That Night minigame discussed earlier in Pizzeria Simulator, you play as an orange character. The consensus among most of the community is that this represents William Afton, from him pounding on the child's door, referencing FNAF 4, to him talking to his son inside the house, presumably Michael. People have pieced together that this orange fellow is most likely Afton himself. Phone Guy is Purple Guy. This is a theory that was popularized by MatPat in 2015. I do want to say that although this theory is pretty much laughable now, back in 2015 it made a lot of sense. Consider these points in context. Phone Guy is the Purple Guy because he's the only one who knows about the safe room and the spring lock suits. Because he says Foxy is his favorite and is standing next to Pirate Cove smiling in the Foxy minigame, and because he is holding a phone in the Save Them minigame. In the context of 2015, this was borderline irrefutable proof that Phone Guy was Purple Guy. Of course, now we can look back and laugh. Pickles the Parrot. This refers to Rockstar Foxy's parrot, who was never given a name. Fans have named it though, and they decided on Pickles. The decision was made to name it Pickles simply because there's a jar of pickles available for purchase in the Pizzeria Simulator, and its purpose is unknown, other than granting 9 happiness points. So, since the parrot doesn't really have a purpose, yet grants happiness, the parrot was named Pickles. At least, I assume that's what the thought process was. Please maintain 6 feet of distance sign. This is a sign that can be seen in Security Breach, and it shows 2 characters with a short distance between them, with the caption, "Please maintain 6 foot distance." This is probably meant to encourage people not to get too close to the animatronics. Scalers. These are discontinued trinket-like toys that you would attach to thin pieces of cord like headphone wires. They just hang there as an accessory, and I assumed they just weren't popular enough. They did come up with a variation of them though that lights up. Yes, light up it does. that was my Yoda impression for the person that requested it. I know it's garbage. You don't have to tell me. Scott getting calls from pizza places. This entry's title is a little misleading. What this refers to is Freddy's restaurant and pizzeria getting a huge influx of calls from children asking if it's the real Freddy Fazbear's location. They would sometimes get 200 calls an hour and became increasingly upset as real paying customers couldn't get through. Scott Cawthon took to Reddit to tell everyone not to call any numbers found in the game, but it's unclear whether or not this actually worked. Eventually, the restaurant closed down for unrelated reasons. Scott said Bonnie does not abide by the laws of physics. In FNAF 1, Bonnie is known to teleport across multiple rooms at once. When addressing this, Scott Cawthon said that Bonnie does not abide by the laws of physics. And to me, that makes him even scarier. Secret Shrek cutscene in Sister Location Custom Night. This is a YouTube video uploaded by Way2 that parodies the Sister Location Custom Night cutscenes. It features an 8-bit version of All Star by Smash Mouth, playing over an animation of Shrek walking through a neighborhood, and ends with Donkey getting kicked out of Shrek's house in a swamp. I've linked the video in the description for you to check out. Security Breach difficulty settings. Strings of code for features such as changing difficulty to easy, medium, and nightmare can be found, alongside code suggesting that time passed as the player played instead of the hard-coded time progression found currently. The text mentions, "Warning. Time does not stop when looking at the Fazwatch." Springtrap's jump scare is bad because he recognizes his son. This is a fan theory posted on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit by a user by the name of Dr. Purpleman. He proposes that the reason Springtrap's jump scare in FNAF 3 is so bad is because Springtrap, William Afton, recognizes that the night guard is his son, which is also why his eyelids go up so suddenly when jump scaring the player. A comment adds on to this, saying that another reason why Springtrap's jump scare is so bad could be due to the fact that Afton isn't intimidated by the night guard and knows he is in complete control. What do you guys think? Supposed Scott Cawthon photo. Back when FNAF first came out, when you would look up Scott Cawthon's name and try to find photos of him, This was one of the only pictures that would come up. I, along with many others, have never seen this photo before, as for some reason it doesn't really show up a lot anymore. Tater the Waiter Gator. This is a fan-made animatronic by Yoshidashite on Imager. He's a weirdly simple looking gator, but it really feels like there's something going on beneath the surface, like he's trying to swindle me into buying a car I don't want or something. Oh, I know what it is. He looks like Plato the Publicosaurus. Tentacles in the static. In the static and security breach, if you increase the contrast, you can very clearly see dark tentacles of what looks like something swimming. What could it be? A giant squid? Nightmarian? Something from Japan? Maybe we'll never know. Unwithered Bonnie. Some fans have taken to programs like Blender to try to construct what Withered Bonnie would have looked like before he was withered, hence the unwithered part of this entry. Based on the lower teeth that are still present in his withered model, he probably had some prominent teeth on his upper jaw as well. All of the models of the unwithered Bonnie I've seen have looked relatively good, but definitely uncanny in some way. It just doesn't pass as something originally made to entertain kids. And that's the end of this tier, guys. I definitely enjoyed making this one. It seems like the entries are getting more and more interesting as we progress deeper into the depths of this iceberg. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.